Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It's Tuesday, May the 26th. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to build on recent gains with ASX futures up just over 0.25%. While markets in the US and the UK were closed for holidays, elsewhere equities rallied and oil prices plunged on optimism that the US and Iran are close to a deal to end the war. S&P 500 futures rose to a record high, while Nasdaq 100 futures were up around 1.3%. Europe's stock 600 index closed at its highest level in more than 2 months and is less than 1% away from its February record high, having recovered all of its losses since the start of the Middle East conflict. Germany's DAX finished 2% higher, led mostly by gains in Siemens and Infineon. The airlines gained as oil prices slid, and the European tech sector rose, with the sub-index on the stock 600 up over 25% this quarter. Chip-making giant ASML among the winners, while AI equipment maker Schneider Electric rose more than 3%. Delivery Hero jumped to an 18-month high and reports that Uber was weighing a raised takeover bid for the German food delivery group, with it having rejected Uber's previous offer, valuing it at around $13.4 billion US. Well, President Trump has said that negotiations with Iran over an interim deal to extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz were proceeding nicely. Iranian and US officials are meeting in Doha, with media reports suggesting that the framework extends the ceasefire by 60 days and includes allowing pre-war levels of traffic through the strait within 30 days. Talks on Iran's nuclear weapons and missile development programs are expected to fall under a second round of talks. Elsewhere, European leaders have condemned Russia after it launched one of the heaviest bombardments of Kyiv in the 4-year-old war with Ukraine, with Britain and Germany describing the use of an Oshentnik hypersonic missile, an intermediate range missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads, as an escalation. The overnight barrage killed 2 people in Kyiv and wounded nearly 100, according to Ukrainian officials. The UK Treasury physical market was closed for the holiday, but futures traded, implying the 10-year yield fell 1 basis point. Australian 3-year government bond yields traded around 4.52%. The 10-year was around 4.9%. The US dollar index was down around 0.33%, and the Aussie dollar has risen to 71.7 US cents. Oil prices have tumbled on optimism that the United States and Iran are moving closer to a peace deal that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, despite both sides playing down the prospects of an imminent breakthrough. Brent crude futures fell 7% to $96 a barrel. Gold rose as the US dollar fell, spot gold trading at around $4,570 an ounce. Copper futures rose around 1.5%. Iron ore was up to $108 US a ton, and Bitcoin is trading above $77,000 US. It is quiet on the data docket today. On the corporate calendar, earnings results are expected from Aroa Biosurgery, Fisher & Paykel Healthcare, while Goodman Group releases a quarterly update. And investor briefings are due to be held for Challenger, Flight Centre and Santos. That is your day ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.